All right, let's get over to the kitchen now. It's all time for lunch for all of us here. Let's check in with ABC7 Culinary Director Judy Gallagher and see what she's cooking today. Hi, Judy.
Well, hi, Scott. This recipe is twofold. It's perfect for a rainy week. We're making cream of asparagus soup, and it's kind of a combination of a cream of potato leek soup and cream of asparagus. But the asparagus is abundant at Yoder's produce stand, and I was thrilled to go get several bunches today. What you want to make sure you do when you're cooking with asparagus is to keep it from getting thready, is you want to snap it where it naturally bends. So not everyone will be the same. It's where it bends, so you'll notice. So we're just going to steam that up, and when we come back, we'll get cooking a warm bowl of cream of asparagus soup.
All right, let's get back to the kitchen and check in again with Judy Gallagher. Judy?
Well, Scott, we are ready to get going. You know, this is going to be a great soup if maybe Saturday night in preparation for the royal wedding, you want to have a little themed dinner while you're baking your scones for the morning. So in this pot, I have about 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter. You can use truffle butter. And then I'm going to take just a few shiitake mushrooms, always removing the stems. Those are the woody part that don't cook down on the shiitakes. So we're going to let that saute for just a couple minutes, start to get it tender, and then we're going to add, about a cup's worth of fresh leeks. Now you really want to wash those carefully and break them apart, because in the middle is where sand gets trapped. So I always soak them, and then as I'm slicing them, I rinse them off, put them in a colander and just use the sink hose to rinse them off. So let's get that sauteing away. And we already talked about your asparagus where it bends. Now you definitely want to peel your asparagus. There's 2 rules of thumbs on how to steam your asparagus. If you do have an asparagus basket, it's great when you steam them standing up, because the tips you don't want to cook as much. They're so tender, whereas the base, wherever it may bend that it is going to take a little bit more time, and that's how the steam rises. But for the soup, it's fine if you want to lay it on a plate and just put about a teaspoon of water and cover it with plastic wrap for 2 minutes, and that will work great. And then you can see we already have a full bunch set. Now, the ones that are steamed, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take about 3 of them right away, and I'm just going to dice them up, and that's going to be for the garnish, because to me, it's really important to have textures in your soup. So when we come back, the leeks will be cooked down in the mushrooms. I'm adding the potatoes and some mushroom broth, and we'll continue to make this delicious soup for a good rainy day.
Back to the kitchen. Let's check in on Judy Gallagher, who's fixing a delicious lunch for us today. Judy?
Thanks, Scott. Well, as you can see, we've sauteed the shiitake mushrooms and the leeks, added this steamed asparagus that I cut up, and about 4 peeled chef potatoes. Chef potatoes are the very light-skinned potatoes. Picked up all those veggies at Yoder's produce stand, which I always say is the world's best tomatoes that we can get here right here in Florida from their farms up north. So this is going to simmer until the potatoes are completely done. Then we're going to bring it over, and we're going to take out an immersion blender, which I love these tools. If you don't have one, don't worry. You can use a regular blender. Just always put a towel over the blender. Since you're mixing hot liquid, it can splatter. So the immersion blender is just going to whip this up. That's why I like to use it when I'm making homemade sauces and soups. So it just kind of creams it. You can get it as smooth as you want, or leave it just with a little bit of chunk. And then I have a little bit of leftover asparagus that will stay nice and green, so we'll do that. So let's talk about the plating. Once it's all put together, we're going to add some more sea salt, and I'm using the rosemary basil sea salt. And then we're going to add some heavy cream. And what I do is I take about a 1/2 cup, and I'm going to give that a swirl and let that just warm together. Don't bring it back to a boil, because you don't want that to separate. While that's heating up some more, I'm going to take about a teaspoon of Dijon mustard, and I'm going to add that right into sour cream, or you can use creme fraiche. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to put it in a serving dish, a little dollop of the Dijon sour cream, and some fresh snipped chives, a little more asparagus, and my favorite, these Lars French fried onion rings that you can get at a gourmet store. Boom, you have the perfect soup for a start of a rainy week, and it'll kick off the royal wedding. We'll have a taste in just a few minutes.
That's very tasty, Judy.
Thank you.
That's
Well,
very
it's
good stuff.
For all this rain, you deserve a nice pot of soup. Springtime soup, some cream of asparagus if you want to make this Friday night, because the royal wedding, of course, is Saturday
yes,
morning.
right.
You can enjoy it, but lots of good taste and simplicity and a little crunch at the end.
Recipes on our website, mysuncoast.com. Go on there, check it out. All of the video instructions from Chef Judy herself will be there, as well as your shopping list and step-by-step instructions. Thanks, Judy.
Thank you.
It warms the tummy on it.
There you go.
I was going to say cool day, but that's kind
Rainy
of a stretch
day.
when
Let's
you're
say
at
rainy
80 degrees.
day.